Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. This podcast is dedicated to EAS employees of the U.S. Postal Service and members of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us for today's episode. And now, here's your host, Robert Wakefield.
Good morning, Branch 32, and good morning, Naps family from across the country, across the world, across the street. Wherever you're listening, thank you so much and welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. I'm your host, Robert Wakefield. That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Got a great show lined up for you, so go ahead and pour that first cup. Do you know at the Nashville Post Office Credit Union, you can save time and money by applying for a loan online. We strive to be your number one lending source, and you can apply for many of our loans right there off your computer. You can use our electronic signature service to be able to sign your loan documents without ever stepping into our branch. So take advantage of our great loan rates and the convenience of our online loan application. Visit npocu.org. And for our first cup today, we are continuing our discussion about the advisement rights, and we have on the program once again to discuss this, the immediate past president of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. Please welcome back to the show, Brian Wagner. Brian, how are you?
Robert, great. It's a three-peat. Do I get a trophy or something like the Bulls, a three-peat? I've got a trophy cup of coffee.
There's no three-peat or anything like this. Is a series. So, yeah, you get the series title. So, yeah, you don't get one for being on 3 times in a row.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I like the series.
Yeah, the series is good. The series is good. So
Yes.
let's review. We talked about the Calkines rights. That was the first one episode we did. And the second one was the Garrity rights, which are very important that all NAPS members should know about. But then we're going to get into the one that we're most familiar with, probably because of TV shows. And that's the Miranda rights. So let's talk about that today, Brian.
Yeah, Miranda rights, whether you see it on Hawaii Five-0 or Law and Order or whatever TV cop show you watch, they always have the Miranda rights. You know, did they read you your Miranda rights, which is you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and do can be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be given to you. When you're called into an OIG investigation, and the first thing they're going to do, most likely, is read you your Miranda rights if they think you've done something that you're under arrest.
Right.
They're going to give you a paper and say, okay, I, Brian Wagner, been advised by Robert Wakefield, the agent, that I have a right, I've given my Miranda rights. I have a right to remain silent. Any statement I say or use in evidence against me in court of law, right to consult an attorney. If I can't afford one to be provided, all so forth and so on. Right to request an attorney anytime during the investigation, and right to terminate this interview at any time for any reason. Again, when you're given your Miranda rights, bottom line is you're under arrest. Miranda is custodial interrogation.
Okay.
A member you are not free to leave. Not like what we talked about Garrity, where it's voluntary, but it could lead to criminal. Mm-hmm. With the Miranda rights, the post office or the OIG has already arrested you. You've done something that you've been arrested. Yeah. You cannot leave. You are under arrest.
So that's what the custody is talking about. When you're in custody, you're being arrested for a criminal interrogation.
That is correct.
Wow.
So, and of course, like in Miranda situation, member, should not say a word.
Right.
And if they're in with their NAPS rep, first thing you do is tell Robert, you tell me, Brian, you get an attorney, possibly a criminal defense attorney, because you're a federal employee. Mm-hmm. Most likely it's going to be criminal, so you'll want an attorney. And Robert, you would leave. Exactly. You don't make any comments. Right. And again, there is no NAPS rep client confidentiality.
Right.
Because that you could be, as the NAPS rep, be called in as a witness to the OIG. Now, and again, a member may, whether or not they may be asked to write a statement, forced to write a statement. Well, in all honesty, this is just what we tell people. You would state that you don't agree with the charges, and you're being forced to write a statement. But the key is ask for an attorney.
Okay.
And very important, because here's another thing that I want to bring up.
Okay.
I know there are cases where people have read their Miranda rights on the OIG. Mm-hmm. So you definitely remain silent immediately. Okay. You don't waive you don't waive your rights, including the right to remain silent. You don't sign a waiver of your rights form. You don't waive any rights. You don't admit or deny any allegations. You don't make any written or oral statements unless your attorney is present. And do not go ahead.
Oh, so you're just really being silent is what you're advising.
Yes. Okay. You're and do not consent. Don't make any written or oral statements unless your attorney's present. Don't consent to a search of your person or property. You have to ask to see a search warrant. Here's the other thing. Don't consent to a polygraph or what they call a forensic examination.
Okay.
Don't make small talk either. My thing is, you see, well, I'll take a polygraph. I'll prove myself innocent. Do not do that.
Right. Do
not make small talk. Do not make jokes. This is serious. Robert, when I do my training, I don't know how much time we have. I say in the class, my training class, I said, has anybody ever been read their Miranda rights as a postal employee? And, I said, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want. But I raised my hand. I raised my hand because in 1983, no, actually it was 1982.
Okay.
I was called into, at that time, an inspection service. I had called in sick the day before. I was sick, came back to work. I was a carrier. I got called into the office. The inspection service was there, and they asked me, are you Brian Wagner? Yes, I am. I go, Mr. Wagner, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, do, can be used against you in court. I was given my Miranda rights.
Wow.
I'm like, what? I have no idea. I didn't have a union steward in there. I'm thinking, okay. And not, I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on, because somebody says, where were you? Well, I was sick. So I'm sitting down there asking me these questions. And they gave me my Miranda rights. And I'm only 22 years old. Been in the post office just about 4 years. Uh-huh. I'm like, what do I know? So, and again, I say, don't make jokes. They go, well, you were sick? I said, yeah, I was sick. Can anybody prove it? I said, no, I live alone. I'm not that lucky. Okay. Do not joke.
There's no joking.
And then,
okay.
No joke. And then they're asking me, I said, will this take long? Because I have ballet class at 4:00. And I did. I was taking classes at the junior college to get 2 credits to graduate, and I took a ballet class.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
So that's awkward. Statement.
It was very awkward. At the end of the day, they did release me. I was not charged. What had happened the day before, a carrier who had some mental issues actually shot a gun through the window to try to scare or hit the manager of the office.
Oh,
somebody
goodness.
Shot at the window.
Oh,
and I
gosh.
happened to be sick that day.
Oh.
And so it was very serious. And again, I'm 22 years old. Me, my personality, I live and learn.
Right.
That's why I say, do not make jokes. This is serious. And I will tell you, And Robert, I know we're short on time, but I want to make sure our members know about this.
Okay.
We have the NAPS Disciplinary Defense Fund card,
Right.
the DDF card. All right. Mm-hmm. And in there, it talks about postal inspector and OIG awareness. And what I listed to you about, ask if you're a suspect of a criminal investigation, do not consent to search and seizure of your property, mm-hmm. do not waive your rights. That's on the card.
Oh, it is
so
on
what
the card.
what I just spoke to everybody about, I'm not playing lawyer, but I'm telling you, this is what NAPS has published this in the magazine before. We had these cards. I don't know if they still have them at NAPS headquarters, but every member should have a copy. Mm-hmm. It talks about your DDF rights, but it also talks about how to conduct yourself in a postal inspector and OIG investigation.
Right.
And it has a card on who your branch president is, the number, who to call. and don't sign waivers. So this is very important. This is a card that all of our members should have, because when you read your Miranda rights, something's going down where you're being arrested and going to be charged with a crime, something criminal, which then means you will need an attorney for sure.
Exactly right. It's funny you mentioned about not making jokes and not making small talk. It's something that I like to call the awkward pause that administrators will use in eyes. You know, they'll just write something down. They could be playing a tic-tac-toe game just to see if you'll say anything. Right. And they can use that against you. So that's why it's a good advice that you're giving.
Yes. Well, when I do the training on investigative interviews and OIG investigations, I bring that up. Mm-hmm. Answer the question, stop talking. Those pregnant pauses or long pauses, whatever they call them, people don't like that silence. So they want to just chatter. Right. Like I said, think twice and say nothing, right? Think twice and say nothing. And once you answer the question, again, on an investigative interview, but if it's Miranda, don't answer anything, get your attorney. But don't try to break the silence because, like you said, it is done intentionally to get people to talk.
Exactly right. So in the couple of minutes we have left, I want to recap all three of these rights. So let's recap what all three of them are. Let's start with the first one, and that was the Calkines.
Yeah, the Calkines rights is you're called into an investigative interview. You have to answer the questions. They have what they call use immunity. You're not going to be charged for anything criminal. You have to answer the questions. And if you don't, they could charge you for not cooperating and you could be removed. Okay. Again, you're not incriminating yourself.
All right. And then the Garrity rights are what?
The Garrity rights they could be criminal, but you're not under arrest. You are to answer questions that's not related to anything criminal. And if there is something, you don't have to answer it. And the thing with Garrity is it's voluntary. You can leave at any time. And my suggestion is most likely Garrity is going to lead to some sort of criminal charge that the OIG is trying to find out. So you should contact an attorney.
Okay. And then finally, what we talked about today, the Miranda rights.
Right. Right to remain silent. Take that right under the law. And get an attorney right away. Do not start trying to talk your way out of trouble, because most likely when you're given the Miranda rights, you're in big trouble. That is, and again, the NAPS rep is not confidential. Anything you say to the NAPS rep, they can be used as a witness on behalf of the OIG and anything that's said to you. So you could be called as a witness.
Yeah, so that's important if you're representing someone and their Miranda rights are being read. The interview stops right there until they get their lawyer in place.
Right. Correct. And then going back to real quick to Calkines, you can't say, well, I don't want to incriminate myself on my, Fifth Amendment rights. No, that's been waived. You're not going to be charged. So you have to answer. You have to answer those. Oh, this has really been an interesting series. I hope that the members that listen to this podcast got a lot out of that. I know I did. And but the thing is, I have to advise you of your rights of giving us the ice cream flavor of the week. So feel free. Yeah, and I'm not going to be silent on this one. I'm going to speak from the coffee beans, speak from the mountains. It's Coffee Toffee Crunch is the ice cream flavor of the day. Oh, Coffee Toffee Crunch. Coffee Toffee Crunch. You can't beat that. Brian, I cannot thank you enough for being on the Saturday Cup of Joe. I really do appreciate it. It is my honor, Robert. Again, the #1 podcast in the world and in our hearts. I can sleep at night now. It's great. Oh, thank you again. And that's going to wrap this up. And it's now time for our second cup. Banking should be made simple. That's why Ollie, the Nashville Post Office Credit Union's virtual assistant, is here, ready to help 24/7. Need quick answers? Ollie delivers secure, instant solutions right at your fingertips. No wait times, no hassle, just smart banking made easy. Whether you're managing your finances, exploring loan options, or just need guidance, Ollie is always ready to assist, wherever and whenever you need. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union, people helping people since 1925. Well, it
is time for our second cup, and as I try to do on the first Saturday of each month, give you some of the obscure holidays for the month of February. So here we go. It starts out February the 2nd with National Tater Tot Day. Oh boy, can't wait to celebrate that one. And then February 4th, we have a very important holiday that's obscure. It's Thank a Mailman Day. How about that? A day to thank the mailman. February the 4th. And then, of course, here's one that Brian needs to pay close attention to, Brian Wagner. February 7th is Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day. And somehow I think he already does that. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to go on a limb here and say that he has had ice cream for breakfast. There you go. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the fabulously popular Saturday Cup of Joe podcast, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. Tell all your EAS friends, your friends in NAPS, let them know that this podcast is out there. I really would appreciate it. Great to have you here. Thank you so much. And remember, every great weekend starts with a great cup of Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Robert Wakefield and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. We welcome your questions and comments, so send those to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com.